Before I get started, I wanted to call dibs on Rennie. I've already asked him that question, so I don't want anybody jumping on him or anything. But that was very thought-provocative, and I thank him for talking. You really enjoy the next speaker, too. I want to thank Securities America for allowing me to speak, and for you guys being here. It's good to see a lot of familiar faces. Dad, can I ask you a question? Why do you work so much? Will you be home tonight before we go to bed? In the morning when I get up, will you be gone? Aren't you the boss? The pit in my stomach comes, and my brain starts stinging. I really hate this next part. I'm sorry, buddy. I'll just have to try to be there next time. There's a lot of people that are counting on me, and I can't let anyone down. I know it's important, but I'll try to be there next time. All of us have felt this in some fashion. Overcommitted and stressed out by all of our responsibilities. 99 things point us in all different directions, and all of it seems important. My partners and I had spent 12 years growing a successful business helping people define their definition of wealth. And because of that, we had experienced great growth and client acquisition. Over the last 10 years, we've enjoyed 20% increases in GDC per year, and we had solved most advisors' biggest problem through our niche marketing strategies, finding new qualified clients. In 2009, right after the financial crisis, we had our best year ever for assets. And in 2010, through one of our niche markets, there was a big company-wide layoff. Over one 3-week period, I saw 150 people as first-time appointments who were considering hiring us as their trusted advisor. But along the way, my work-life balance went awry. It wasn't planned, our growth wasn't linear, it snuck up on us, and we were making reactionary decisions based on what was going on rather than following a thoughtful plan. I knew this had to change, but I needed to know how. I'd like you to think about a question while I'm talking. Do you ever say yes to the important things, knowing that you're saying no to the most important things? Do you ever say yes to the important things, knowing that you're saying no to the most important things? Everything can seem like it's working right from the outside, but when we honestly evaluate, we find those hidden things that maybe people don't see that need addressed in order for great progress and change to begin. Well, let me tell you a little bit about our business predicament. As we moved through the different stages of growth, we became more involved in the administrative aspects of our business. Employee management, human resources, systems implementation. And our problem was we knew this was out of whack, but we didn't think we had the right people who could do it, or we just didn't want to let go. Well, this thinking had negative consequences. Employee morale really suffered in our firm, and we lost our best employee who I had nominated for SAI as Assistant of the Year. Systems and implementation were inconsistent, and even worse, it was taking away from our core competencies, meeting clients, visionary leadership for the firm, and running the book. All the while, we were managing our existing client base and taking on initial appointments at a very fast rate. But I got to the point where the business was dictating the way that I was living. And for the first time, I had a real internal turmoil about what was taking place. I even questioned my passion for the career. My business partners had the same experiences. They were stressed out and overwhelmed, and we were starting to bicker at each other like brothers do, more than we usually did. It all came to a head last year. I'd like to share with you how I went about the change personally, so then I could change on a professional level. So the first thing I did was I called a family meeting. We started doing these with our kids. We sit down on the couch, we have an agenda, everybody gets input, and my wife and I discussed with our kids the reasons for work. So we work to save money, to give to people, to provide for life's basics, and to do the activities that they want to do, and have the stuff that they want to have. But my son Jackson interrupted, and he really put it in perspective. And he's wearing a retainer right now, so I'm going to try to impersonate him. He said, Daddy is still better than all the stuff we have put together. The next thing we did is we brainstormed about possible solutions. So these were great from my kids. Dad, can you just not go? Maybe just skip it. Have you tried talking faster? And my son Cooper said, could you just pay someone $2,000 million to help you? We all agreed that Dad had 1 year to take his work-life balance back, or he was going to nose on the wall, timeout. This works, actually. 1 minute for every year old you are. It doesn't work with a spouse, though. Not a good idea. Just hearing how I was letting my kids down was really motivating to commit to the change. And I love the wisdom of young children and the innocence of that. I still review those notes from our family meeting when I need inspiration on sticking to the plan that we agreed upon in that family meeting. The second thing we did is my partners and I had to come up with a plan, agree on that, and implement it. So we do our big decisions in our annual business planning meeting. We go off campus, lock ourselves in a hotel for 3 days, and we work on what we're going to do for the next year and beyond. In past years, we had improved our workflow systems. We had come up with cost-cutting measures to help us improve margins, and we had also realigned our client contact with the revenue rather than through the assets that a client may have had. But in this particular year, we had a more personal problem. Finally, the three of us had reached that work-life imbalance at the same time, and we know that we needed to change. So, two things came from our business planning. We made two commitments. The first one was we were going to add more advisors to help with the client overload and the growth. And the second one was we desperately needed the right person to take over operations and administration of the team. Well, I'm happy to say, I'm overjoyed that those people are finally in place, and we can already see the benefits of tackling that hidden thing that we needed to address in order for progress to begin. Our Chief Administrative Officer has taken over compliance and operations and management, and we think that our employees will have a better experience, which will lead to job retention and employee loyalty. And the two new advisors we added on have helped with the client overload and our intention to keep growing the firm through acquisitions and through our niche market strategies. And for the first time, I'm excited about the direction of our practice. And personally, I can see a light at the end of the tunnel that's leading to that work-life balance that I've been desiring and that I can be content in. I'd like to finish my time telling you a story about my daughter. She started out in life with obvious limitations and very external problems. She came to the United States from China in October of 2013, and as you can see, she needed some surgeries to drastically improve her quality of life. So, the first two surgeries were done on her upper and lower lip. She has what's called a cleft lip. And looking at the pictures there, you can see the difference, and you would think at this point that she's all set and everything's fine. But what you can't see and what isn't obvious is she also has a cleft palate, which is the roof of your mouth. And unless that was repaired, she would never be able to communicate successfully. So unless she had that palate surgery, she would never be able to talk where she could be understood. This particular procedure that she has done involves grafting skin from the inside of your cheeks. They basically cut it out, and they put it up in the roof of the mouth and stitch it in along the gum line and down the middle. She was a real trooper. Thankfully, after 7 hours of surgery and 3 days in the hospital and 7 viewings of the movie Frozen, he knows the soundtrack. I know the soundtrack. Yeah, exactly. She's making great progress, and she's doing great. And we think for her, she's going to make great strides. Well, you might be interested to know what we named her. She's got 3 big brothers. They're all 7. And we gave her the name. I'll just let her tell you.
Okay, ready? Go, Mike.
A-Y-Y. Maya. Yay!
She's really proud of herself there, you can really tell. She doesn't have any problems with self-confidence. I don't know where that comes from. So I just want to finish by asking that question again and ponder that. What is that one hidden thing in your life or your business that needs your attention in order for great progress to begin? You see, Maya was never going to be able to communicate or talk well until her surgery, that thing that was inside of her mouth that no one could see, was fixed and addressed. And now for her, the sky's the limit. And for us in our business, we were never going to progress in the fashion that we wanted to and achieve that work-life balance without handling our issues that were hidden from plain view. And now, for the first time in a long time, we feel like the sky's the limit for us. I don't really want you to take away from my presentation the how, what, or why we did what we did, but I do want you to take this away. We recognized what we needed to do, and we acted. I appreciate your time, and I hope you have a great conference.